On this episode of Life in Focus, we're hunting in one of my favorite spots, the great state of Kansas, a state that is just unbelievable when the rut hits. And we're hunting on a ranch that we have permission to hunt on, and it's at the end of this long, like a 5 mile dirt road off the main road, dead ends, in this beautiful old farmhouse. Secluded, rounded. It's surrounded by, on one side, by a river, and on the back side and the other side, it's surrounded by a waterfowl refuge. A lot of food and a lot of deer and a lot of bucks, a lot of good bucks, as you'll see in this hunt. Now, this ranch has produced some really great hunts in the past. This season, we've got a great big typical 10-point on-trail camera that we've nicknamed Thumper. We've got high hopes that we can put a tag on it. Now, we've been back and forth all season trying to catch up to Thumper, and during that process, we've seen some really great bucks. A lot of really good bucks that were just on the borderline, but not one that we were willing to give up our chase for Thumper and go after. Now, we've been back and forth. This is a 12-hour drive from home, and we've been back and forth about 5 trips chasing Thumper throughout the season. And we're coming down the wire to try to get it done, and he has just about, or has completely disappeared off the trail camera.
It's a blast, but they're coming on every side of the tree, and I can't hold the camera still.
Now, we're down to the wire. We're down to the last week, and we've been chasing this buck for right at 40 days. And that's not 40 days in a row. This is spread out over the season. Now, this is a 12-hour drive from our house. So we're down to the wire, very last week. Only have a few days to hunt. And the weather has turned off terrible. Winter Storm Goliath is rolling in, and it's cold, windy, rain, and just making for terrible hunting conditions, just especially for filming, trying to keep your camera gear dry. It's turned off to be tough. And not only that, add to the fact that Thumper has completely disappeared off trail camera for about 18 days. Some of you may remember that Winter Storm Goliath is the same storm that Craig Strickland, the country music artist that played with the group Backroads Anthem, had drowned. He and his friend had drowned during a duck hunt, which ironically was just south of where we're hunting right now, about 2 hours.
It is flat, getting it out there. If I didn't have my foot on this blind, it'd be blown away. Crazy.
Now, we spend a cold, windy, rainy day in the blind. Late in the day, we get a few deer passing through feeding, but nothing that really captures our attention. We stay to dark, pack all our stuff up, put the cameras in the pack, and slosh our way back to the truck. Well, after we left the field that night, after we left the blind, we hiked back to the truck. I do like I always do. I've got my cameras. I've got my main camera, and I've got my backup camera in my pack. And like I've done hundreds of times before, I set it over in the back of the truck, shut the lid, or shut the door on the camper topper. And we get back to camp. It's about 5 miles back to camp. We get back to the farmhouse, and I go and get my pack out of the truck, and it's soaking wet. I'm talking about a cameraman's nightmare. And I'm like, how in the world has this camper top leaked? Well, evidently it was raining so hard, and on that dirt road when we were headed back, somehow the rain blew in and got up in under the back flap of the camper top, and it soaked my pack. So I get in the farmhouse and I pull my cameras out, and I'm praying that they haven't gotten wet. And I pull them out and they're soaked. And if any of you know anything about cameras, moisture in cameras is not good, not at all good. So I took them in the bathroom, I took the heater on, I set them, and I took the batteries off, and I let them just turn the heat on and tried to let them dry out. Well, unfortunately, my main camera, I take that back, my backup camera won't even come on. And my main camera won't zoom. And it's stuck in the zoom in mode. I can't control it. It'll come on, but it won't zoom. So it won't, I can't control the zoom. Everything's just zoomed in. So I'm down to almost nothing. And I'm sick. I mean, we spent our entire season chasing this buck, and both of my cameras have crapped out. So I tell Spook, I said, well, I've got my DSLR camera and mainly I use it for B-roll stuff. Doesn't have really good light gathering capability. And I said, if something doesn't happen by morning, we'll use it. Next morning, get up, same thing. They're crapped out. We elected not to hunt that morning, try to figure out what we're going to do that afternoon. I use my DSLR. It's fine until he starts getting low light. And when he starts getting low light, and most of you know, that's when the bucks start coming out. And starts getting low light, and it gets real grainy, and it's just not good for filming a hunt. But anyways, we do the best we can do. We head out for the evening hunt. Not much going on. Next morning, we go back to the spot where we'd been getting Thumper. At this point, he's been gone 21 days. We hunt that morning, very little activity, few deer moving through, but that's about it. Pull the camera card. This is the next to the last day of the season. Pull the camera card, go back to the farmhouse, Spook's showering, and I start scrolling through the pictures to see what we had. And sure enough, been gone 21 days. And who's standing in the daylight the afternoon before? Thumper. Well, after we discovered Thumper had showed up on trail camera, we immediately, after showering, turn around and go straight back and get in the blind, and hoping that he'll come in like he did the day before, right before dark, and give us plenty of filming light to get the kill shot on camera. But just like always, when the light starts to fade, the deer start to move. And we've got this really nice buck that I've nicknamed Patch Adams, because he's got a patch of white hair right on his forehead, kind of right between his eyes. Beautiful buck. Long tines, one that we've gotten a lot of pictures of, and I've been able to film on several occasions. Now old Patch comes in and he gets all squirrely and gets to running these doe around, and he runs out in the field back to our left. Spook can't see him from where he's sitting, and I could see him, and he starts just kind of looking around, and then he just meanders on off following those doe. But the whole time he's looking back behind him, and I think it's something else is going on. And sure enough, I look, and coming out kind of the same way that Patch did, Thumper. Remember, I told you that the light gathering capability of this camera is not very good. We're down to the last few minutes of the hunt. Actually, we can see good. It's just that the camera's not gathering enough light, so it makes it look darker than it actually is. And who steps out? Thumper. He jumps the fence, and I've got great footage. He jumps the fence, and he's headed in. And at this point, we have enough light. And I'm thinking, man, it's going to work out. Thank God it's going to work out. Thumper's walking in, and Thumper gets to about 60 yards. And I'm really don't use this camera a whole lot other than for just some B-roll stuff. I don't use it to film a hunt. I look down, and the camera card is full. Bang. Thumper's at 50, 60 yards and headed in. And I tell Spook, I said, oh my God, the camera card's full. He said, you gotta be kidding me. So you want to panic, but I just eased in the edge of my pack, popped out the card, popping another one as he's walking in. And so he gets to the corner of the blind, and I'm back up and I'm running, and he stops. I can see him great. I can film him. But Spook can't see him without peeping around the corner. I mean, there's no way he can get drawn and get a shot at him because of the angle where I'm sitting and where he's sitting. I tell y'all, I'm about to be sick because I think this sapsucker is going to stand right there just out of position for Spook to get a shot, and he's going to let the camera light go completely out. Till he finally makes a move and starts easing on in. Exciting end to a season of chasing one particular buck. And when it came down to it, with issues with my cameras getting wet, I didn't think it was going to happen.
Oh, he's a giant.
That's one of my fondest hunts and one of the most stressful when it came down to the end. With my cameras getting wet and crapping out, and then having him coming in, and the camera card full, and having to make that change, and then him standing there till I think he's going to completely let me lose camera light, and I'm not going to get the kill on camera. Pretty awesome, great time, just one of those memorable moments from behind the camera and from my feelings as a cameraman, what's going on. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, subscribe to Life in Focus, the adventures from behind the camera, and Lord willing, my plan is to bring you something weekly. It's happened to me in my thoughts and feelings over the last several years. So tune in. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.